Deep within the impenetrable jungles of Vietnam in the tumultuous 1960s, my father found himself entwined in a harrowing tale that transcended the boundaries of war and ventured into the eerie realms of the supernatural. On a clandestine mission to emplace seismic ground sensors, he, accompanied by a mere handful of CIDG strikers, trekked into the heart of the dense wilderness. The symphony of the jungle, composed of bird calls, insect hums, and the occasional haunting wail of monkeys, surrounded the patrol as they silently observed a desolate trail intersection. Hours passed, and the stillness of the moment hung thick in the humid air. It was in this otherworldly quietude that the fabric of reality seemed to tear. As my father and two strikers prepared to step onto the trail, a spectral figure emerged from the shadows. A light-skinned black Union cavalry soldier materialized, adorned in battle-worn attire and cradling the weaponry of a bygone era. 2 pistols, a Spencer rifle, and a sinisterly curved club adorned his spectral form. His gaze met my father's with an unsettling smile, and with a single ethereal gesture, he beckoned for silence, placing a ghostly finger to his lips. In a surreal dance, the soldier and my father retreated into the foliage on opposite sides of the trail, disappearing as swiftly as apparitions. The silence that followed was shattered only by the distant rustle of leaves and the beating hearts of those who had witnessed the inexplicable. Minutes later, the jungle exhaled a dark secret. A formidable unit of North Vietnamese army soldiers, numbering in the dozens, marched through the trail intersection, oblivious to the invisible eyes that had watched them. The soldiers' spectral warning had spared the patrol from an unimaginable fate, a fact that my father concealed from all but a chosen few. The story took an even more unsettling turn when, on his grandmother's deathbed in the 1970s, she acknowledged the encounter with a knowing smile. "You saw Old Red Tom," she whispered, her eyes veiled in a mysterious understanding. Old Red Tom, my great-great-grandfather, a half-black, half-Creek freeman, had served as a scout for the Union Army and later rode with the U.S. Cavalry in the American West, wielding 2 pistols, a Spencer rifle, and a Creek war club. This tale of spectral intervention, concealed truths, and ancestral guardianship weaves a tapestry of the eerie and the unspoken, a testament to the shadows that linger beyond the edges of our understanding and the spectral guardians that traverse the boundaries between life and the afterlife. Many moons ago, in the era of pagers, when highways stretched into the unknown and payphones stood sentinel in the corners of truck stops, a tale unfolded that danced on the fringes of the inexplicable. As an on-call technician immersed in the unpredictable world of audio, visual intricacies, the incessant beeping of the pager was an ever-present melody. Yet, one fateful afternoon would etch a peculiar note into the score of this technician's life. Traversing the asphalt arteries from Orlando to St. Petersburg via the enigmatic Interstate 4, the technician's pager roused him from the rhythm of the road. A string of numbers, unfamiliar yet weighted with urgency, flickered on the pager's display, adorned with the cryptic insignia of 911. He heeded the silent plea and veered off at the nearest exit, finding himself at a nondescript truck stop on the outskirts of Plant City. With a sense of anticipation and a pocket full of quarters, he approached the wall of payphones, each standing like a sentinel in a row of 4. Inserting a coin, he dialed the number displayed on his trusty pager. The metallic symphony of ringing filled the air, but no answer greeted him. Puzzled and slightly agitated, he noticed an oddity. Another payphone, adjacent to his own, vibrating with the shrill announcement of an incoming call. Curiosity melded with a tinge of unease. He relinquished his handset, and as he did, the second phone ceased its clamor. An eerie synchronicity unfolded as the technician approached the silent phone, examining the numbers etched above the buttons. To his disbelief, they mirrored the enigmatic digits on his pager, except for the haunting 911. A disconcerting breathlessness seized him as he queried the cashier, the sole witness in this temporal enigma. She affirmed that he stood alone within the store for the past hour. The surreal episode, a mere blip in the cosmic tapestry, spanned a mere 15 minutes, yet it unraveled the threads of the ordinary and left the technician unnerved, the hair on his neck standing in silent testimony to the extraordinary. With a residual sense of disquiet, he resumed his journey, the highway unfolding before him like a scroll of destiny. As he advanced, a spectacle emerged, a cacophony of twisted metal, shattered glass, and the wailing sirens of emergency responders. A four-car pileup, entwined with a steel-laden tractor trailer that had unshackled its cargo, lay sprawled across the highway. State troopers and paramedics had just arrived, casting an air of controlled chaos upon the scene. Pulling over to the side, the technician lent a helping hand, though the turmoil had already begun its descent into the realm of aftermath. It dawned on him, a realization that transcended the boundaries of logic, that the inexplicable page, the haunting phone call, had been a harbinger, a cosmic nudge guiding him away from the impending calamity. The chapters of this tale remain open-ended, an unsolved riddle in the annals of one man's journey through the tapestry of time. Within the austere confines of the maximum security prison, where shadows clung to the edges of every corridor, a macabre episode unfolded, pushing the limits of comprehension and challenging the very foundations of institutional surveillance. The facility, designed to monitor the well-being of its inhabitants, was momentarily blindsided by an act of self-harm that defied the boundaries of conventional understanding. During the routine vigilance of cell checks, a diligent co-worker's watchful eyes caught a glimpse of crimson on an inmate's face. An immediate call for acknowledgement echoed through the sterile halls, met only with an unsettling response. The inmate, cocooned in their own enigmatic world, softly intoned, "It doesn't hurt," as if grappling with a reality detached from the tactile realm. Intrigued and unnerved, the cell door swung open, revealing a tableau of horror. Two vacant eye sockets stared back, the eyes themselves discarded and resting callously on the cold, unforgiving floor. A blood-stained visage bore testament to an act of self-mutilation that had occurred in a realm beyond the surveillance apparatus. Remarkably, the meticulously designed heart rate monitor, a sentinel of physiological anomalies, remained eerily silent, failing to pierce the veil of this macabre spectacle. The inmate, seemingly untouched by the grotesque act, stood with closed eyes, a serene and unsettling calmness enveloping them. No plea for help, no explanation, just a cryptic silence echoing in the sterile chamber. Paramedics, summoned to decipher the enigma, encountered a confounding paradox. Vital signs stubbornly clung to the realm of normalcy, defying the grotesque reality that lay before them. The inmate, with eyes now absent, retained full responsiveness, leaving those who bore witness to this eerie intersection of agony and serenity, grappling with the ineffable mysteries that can unravel within the cold, unforgiving embrace of a maximum security prison. On a chilling night in New Rochelle, NY, the air thick with the camaraderie of a local bar, my friend and I stepped outside for a cigarette. Suddenly, a car roared past, breaking the tranquil atmosphere as it recklessly ignored a red light. The vehicle careened up a hill on a dangerous curve, crossing the double yellow lines, and tragedy unfolded before our eyes. The car, driven by an inebriated individual, collided head-on with another vehicle that had been navigating the road responsibly. In a violent ballet, both cars lifted and slammed down, but the consequences were starkly different. The responsible driver's vehicle burst into flames, casting an eerie glow on the night. In a surreal twist of fate, I found myself sprinting back into the bar, grasping a fire extinguisher and urgently instructing the bartender to dial 911. The reality of the situation, a stark departure from the casual bar scene, instantaneously sobered me. Returning to the scene with my friend and a handful of patrons, I attempted to combat the flames, but the fire extinguisher's feeble efforts were no match for the inferno. The acrid fumes and searing heat forced us to stand helplessly at a distance. The haunting cries of the woman trapped in the burning car reverberated through the night, etching a sound that would forever haunt my conscience. As the fire department arrived to douse the flames and the police ushered us back to the bar for statements, the grim reality sank in. The next day, the news delivered a gut-wrenching blow. The responsible driver, a young woman on the brink of home, family, or motherhood, had succumbed to the senseless tragedy. Meanwhile, the perpetrator, a privileged and intoxicated individual, escaped with a lost leg and minimal physical harm. My attempts to locate the news story proved futile, a time gap of 6 or 7 years eroding the digital traces. Yet, the scars of that night, the vivid images, and the haunting screams remain etched in my memory, a visceral reminder of the fragility of life and the unforgiving randomness of fate.